What's going on, guys? Welcome back. One NFL commentary. Please do me a favor, take a moment, like button, subscribe button, criticism in the comment section. Twitter, Shutdown Safety is my username. Can't thank you guys enough. Dropped a lot of videos yesterday, got a ton of support, means a lot to me. Really intriguing today when Sam Bradford had his press release and he talked about how him and DeMarco Murray were close friends. They were roommates at OU, and how he'd actively been recruiting him to the Eagles staff. And this opens up a very good conversation point. I'd love to know your guys' opinions on NFL friendships. It's a growing trend, to be honest with you, and the problem I have with it is quite simple. You know, friendships make you bias. You can even see that in the sim community. But it's strange to see the influence it can have on an NFL team. You know, let's go back and revisit former Colts, Hakeem Nicks and Ahmad Bradshaw. You know, Bradshaw openly lobbied for Nicks to join the Colts, and given the circumstances, it was pretty realistic to do. You know, Nicks comes in for a one-year deal, doesn't really pan out. They're both out the door now. Really nothing gained or lost. Now, the Colts revisit the same scenario this year. They sign Frank Gore, Andre Johnson, reunites two college players just years after they played in college together. And the friendship of Gore and Johnson probably runs further back than most NFL players because they went to college together. But I think given the NFL job description, most players remain friendly. If you've ever been to a game, it's not uncommon afterwards to see cleats, gloves, jerseys, autographs, whatever gets exchanged between players. Now, I want to draw some distinctions here. To me, it's okay for a former quarterback, take Peyton Manning, for example, to help lure other receivers out of free agency to a team. There's a consistency, there's a language understanding, there's a hand signal understanding, there's a timing there. To me, that's okay. It's also okay that coaches do it, because I think a lot of people take for granted when a coach or a coordinator is trying to implement a new scheme or a system, they have to have players that know the language, and more importantly, have players that can help teach the language to the players on the team that maybe aren't familiar with it as they try to install it. But to me, the issue is when you start having players on the same side of the ball lobbying for each other. You know, let's say that the Eagles do try to sign DeMarco Murray, and let's say that Sam Bradford's influence plays a part in that. It really helps cloud that puddle, because listen, since grade school, you want to play with your friends. That's why you picked them first all those times. You know, the fact of the matter is, it's more fun when you play with your friends, and that's okay when you're playing kickball, but it's not the same concept when it's your livelihood and your career. So let's say your day one quarterback and your future possible halfback are trying to align. I don't know that that's always going to be what's best for the team or the player, because let's just say it doesn't happen. The Eagles bring in Ryan Matthews. Is it not reasonable to assume that Bradford would cite not having Murray when anything negative came up, for a protection issue, a fumble at a key point in the game, a drop in the flat? And I realize there's going to be some people that say, well, he's a professional and it won't be a distraction. But you know what? It's also a game, and it's also the heat of the moment. It's even going to be more so if you see that player flourish at another team. The other aspect of it is very simple. You know, aging halfbacks historically get one big contract. And I'm a huge fan of DeMarco Murray. He's coming off a season where he really showed some grit. He exceeded, I think, everyone's expectations. And we all understand the reward of that work is the contract he's going to have earned. Now, if he shortchanges himself, even the smallest amount, to play ball with his friends, that is going to impact every other halfback contract, because the elite guy, the number one guy, just devalued himself. To me, it's an interesting theory. I'd love to know what you guys think about it. I appreciate you taking time to check it out, and I'll be back later on with more content.